the Atacama Raptor sighting. Back in 2004, a Spanish family visiting the Atacama Desert of Chile claimed to have seen a strange dog-like kangaroo creature, later dubbed the Atacama Raptor, that chased their vehicle as they made their way back to Arica. The Spanish family described the animal as appearing to stand at a little over 6 feet tall, cited as running on its hind legs similar to a bipedal creature, possessing razor-sharp teeth, and seemed to fit the description of a dinosaur-like bird closely resembling a large kangaroo. This has led many to support the idea that perhaps there is a direct descendant of an ancient raptor species that has survived well into the modern day, though many researchers are scared to make such assumptions as the sighting and reports have been few and far between, and the natural environment of the Atacama Desert is hardly capable of supporting large natural wildlife. If there are surviving raptor species, the creature would be similar in design to the modern-day ostrich, with its bipedal design and large bird-like body. Unfortunately, for a creature of that size to exist in the region, it would also need to possess a significantly large enough population to continue its numbers without any damage mutations in the species. It is for this reason that it is believed that the Atacama Raptor must be an endangered species hidden across Chile in uninhabited regions across the country. Given the fact that the sightings of the creature are few and far between, many believe that perhaps the unknown species is already extinct, if it ever existed in the first place. Does forensic science substantiate Bigfoot claims? Does forensic science substantiate Bigfoot claims? Jeff Meldrum, professor of anatomy and anthropology at Idaho State University, believes it does. And who better to believe than an expert in the evolutionary morphology, that is the study of how primates adapted to bipedalism. In his research, Meldrum studies footprints to determine how humans have evolved for upright walking. He's studied samples from Hawaii and Africa, as well as from places all around the world. Meldrum attributes his interest in Bigfoot to a track he discovered in southeastern Washington. It was here, he says, he found a fresh track. So fresh he could still see the skin ridge details. The print was at least 14 inches long. That first sighting was over 20 years ago. Since then, Meldrum has studied over 300 footprint casts as well as hundreds of pictures of the alleged Bigfoot. When describing these casts, Meldrum said the feet are broader and flatter than any human. He also noted the lack of arch and thumb-like big toe that would be similar to an ape's. Instead, there was a big toe more like a human's. The toes were longer, presumably to help navigate the uneven terrain. Furthermore, based on the imprint, Meldrum believed that the prints couldn't have been manufactured as some believed. The print is pressed into the ground in such a way that it shows flexibility in the foot. He noted that these prints are surely adapted to allow a large primate to walk on 2 legs. To Meldrum, this evidence is proof that Bigfoot may exist, and it would be ridiculous to simply discount his existence. Meldrum doesn't simply believe in Bigfoot, he is certain he exists. Even skeptics applaud his work. Encounters with the Kraken. Born from Scandinavian folklore, the Kraken was an enormous cephalopod dwelling in the waters near Norway and Greenland. Early sightings of the creature go as far back as 1250, when an anonymous author described it in a Norwegian text. This narrator believed there to only be 2 Kraken alive, as they were spotted in 2 specific areas. In the text, the Kraken is described as more like land than like a fish. While this gives no specific measurement, it definitely reveals how people perceived the size of the creature. The work goes on to tell of a great mouth that would open and devour many fish before locking its jaw closed. Over the years, many tales of the creatures were told. Researchers believe that the tales started as a sighting of a giant sea squid. Some of these may even grow to be 40 to 50 feet in length. To see that looming beneath a boat would surely stir up superstition and fear among sailors of the time. The tales of the monster grew larger with each telling, and soon the Kraken was overtaking entire boats and swallowing up entire crews. There are few tales that stand out among the others. In 1873, near Newfoundland, it is said that 2 fishermen and a 12-year-old boy fought off the Kraken with nothing more than an axe. When the Kraken wrapped its tentacles around their small boat, the boy hacked off 2 of them. Later, in 1874, a 150-ton schooner was said to be the next victim. Witnesses from a nearby ship called the Strathawan reported seeing a Kraken wrap its monstrous tentacles around the schooner called the Peril, also just south of Newfoundland. Although the crew of the Peril fought the creature, the ship was overtaken and dragged into the depths, leaving a cloud of ink in its wake. The Strathawan moved in to rescue the crew that miraculously survived the attack. Are all of these just tall tales and folklore? Maybe. Science seems to prove the tales do stem from some fact, however. It is widely accepted that large squids do exist in the dark waters of our oceans. In fact, in July of 2012, the very first video of a giant squid had been captured. Although the video shows only a 30-foot squid, the largest one on record was a whopping 55 feet long. The Kraken is just one of the many myths spawned from the unknown. A giant squid sighting, oral folklore sparking fear in the hearts of sailors, hundreds of years of embellishment. Although they are not swallowing up entire ships, it's safe to say enormous mysteries are swirling around in the dark corners of the unexplored oceans. The Australian Bunyip. Described as one of the strangest creatures in Aboriginal myth, the Bunyip of Australia seems to be a monster that borders more on the supernatural than on the natural or cryptozoological. Though many Aboriginal drawings will depict a panther-like creature as the Bunyip, the truth surrounding the Bunyip is that the creature has no true physical form and has the ability to shapeshift into a creature of any kind. This has led many of the Aboriginal people to telling stories of the Bunyip taking strange forms, such as that of a large flying starfish, a creature with large tusks, and the face of a dog, a number of strange forms that seem to be an amalgamation of a number of creatures and even that of a large man. Its normal form is believed to be nothing more than a strange ball of light that leads many to believe that perhaps the creature is more of a manifested spirit with the ability to take physical forms of any kind. Additionally, the spirit is believed to live in the waters of Australia, usually having surfaced or exited from a body of water such as a river, lake, or shoreline. Though the majority of the information surrounding the Bunyip is that gathered from stories and legends of the Aboriginal people, there has been also a number of reports from old British trade ships during the first days of inhabiting the Australian area, leading to a number of written reports surrounding the dangers of the creature and encounters from merchants and officers. This has led many to believe that perhaps there was some sort of violent creature that targeted ships or movement in the water, though researchers are uncertain what it could have been. Today, there are still reports on the Bunyip creature all throughout Australia, leaving many to wonder that perhaps the creature is still residing in the waters in the modern era. Bringing back prehistoric creatures. Over the years, many different theories have been put forward to try and explain the demise of the dinosaurs. One of the leading theories is that a giant asteroid hit our planet millions of years ago. Researchers and paleontologists refer to this as the KT event. Interestingly, it was recently announced by scientists in Russia and South Korea that they've been working on bringing back prehistoric creatures to life. The team are currently carrying out research in a lab that cost $5.9 million to build. They hope to study animals that were once extinct by looking at their cells. Some of the creatures they are looking at bringing back include the cave lion, woolly mammoth, woolly rhino, and species of horses. At this moment in time, researchers have said this is near impossible to do with dinosaurs, but some of these Ice Age creatures still have intact tissues and cells which make the process much easier. This is no longer a fantasy. Scientists from Harvard and Russia have already delved into mixing genes to bring back species that are extinct.